So today we're diving in with me and 5D storytelling, because that's inevitably who I am as the founder and creatrix of 5D Theatre Company, but also something that's been very much pulsing through my bones, something I feel very passionate about, and that's placing magic back in the hands of healers, not harmers. So I'm going to be doing a workshop on this in a couple of weeks' time, a week and a half, on the 25th of May. I'm just checking my orangutan calendar over there. And it's going to be a big one, a big, powerful one, because it's been a culmination of a good 7 years worth of work, a 7 year cycle. And it's for me going into the world of magic, mystery, mayhem, and really understanding how this witchcraft has been abused and used against the healers and the mediums and the cunning folk and down the centuries. It is old, old juju. And how that has been taken away from our hands. So if you work as a light worker, a healer, a spiritual person, a spiritual creative, all of those fields, if you are slightly on tenterhooks about your spiritual craft, it will be because of these magical woundings down the lineages. It's big. It is big. And I say that because I came on today going, I don't want to channel. Now, channeling is my forte, it's what I do best, but I just came on and went, I don't want to channel. Now, the reason I get slightly apprehensive about channeling is because I don't know what's going to come through. There's no rule book, there's no plan. And so I'm taking a leap of faith into the unknown. I have an essence of why Spirit's got me here, to sit here and talk to you, but there's no rule book, no plan. And what happens with me, because I want to just bring through what needs to be said, is that anything could come through. You're in the place of the unknown territory. Now, I say all this being a master channeler and being trained in channeling. Now, I've observed a lot recently about how there's kind of a split between, the worries and the fears of channeling and the creative cure, which is what I usually teach, is that when we get in touch with our channel, we're able to download and get epiphanies, and we're linked in with our creative genius. It's just an easier way to live and to work. But we aren't taught about channeling in the mainstream. We aren't taught it even exists. So people are wandering around thinking they're not creative, thinking they cannot access the divine, and we're taught logic and reason and science and facts. And I understand it. I understand it. There's still part of my brain that needs all that. It's becoming less and less and less, to be quite honest. But yeah, there's still part of all of us that need that. But then there's this space beyond all that, which is the channel space, which isn't, it's the bigger space, the quantum realm, the field, the 5D reality, the multidimensionality. And because this is a reality that not everybody talks about, it can be a difficult realm to master and to wander through, because not only are there amazing light beings in this space, there are earthbound spirits, there are demonic entities, there are negative energies, there are all sorts of other goings on in this space. So this is why I feel it's really important to start learning about magical practices, learning about what something like witchcraft really is and what it's capable of, but also learning beyond that what the healing craft is, what things like mediumship is, what all this multidimensionality is, and trying to get yourself aligned. Because I was sitting meditating just before coming on, and I was like, what is the 5D witch? It's something that I'm going to be feeling into in the workshop. And that is this wisdom that's beyond everything. It doesn't really exist yet. It's new. It's going to be coming in to the collective now. We're going to bring it in. We're going to bring in what it is to be. magical now. And if you want to use the word witch, I'm using it as wisdom keeper. The wisdom, that's it. Nothing that is had layered on it, I take all that back, because language is a spell. So absolutely, words have been obliterated and harmed and used for a massive amount of control. This is the power of words, absolutely. But the frequency of words, the energy behind everything is what matters. And that's why I called the workshop Putting Magic Back in the Hands of Healers, not Harmers. So magic exists. Magic is about mastering the supernatural realms. And a lot of people know how to do that at a high level. They always have. And I'll be talking more about some of those darker agenda forces that have been manipulating and mastering magic and casting a spell on people and controlling minds, and worse than that, controlling souls. There is a lot of souls trauma on our lands. I've been working with that for quite a while now. But there's also the flip of it, the way to reverse it, reverse the curse, let's say. And the thing is to know how to do that properly and to keep yourself well. You need to realize that you are a walking energy field. Like it surprises me how some people don't really understand about energy. I mean, it's so important. I'm someone that does bang on about the chakras a lot, and I talk a lot about the 12th chakra because that's where we're going into a 12th chakra reality. So not just the 7, the ones beyond the body, beyond the veil, the unseen, and mastering that energy. But if you don't have a sense of how to master your own energy, your own temple, your own inner ley lines, then walking on the earth where they've been corrupted, and a lot of people are doing some amazing healing work in lands, but it's going to harm your body because there's a lot of damage done to our earth. Whatever level you know of what's going on this planet, I think we can all agree that there's a lot of trauma and harm done to our beautiful planet. And actually, it's about getting the frequency back in. The frequency in everything we're taking in, everything we're observing, just hiring the frequency. Because it's like we've had a frequency fence around us going, only look here. You know, you're not an energy body. I mean, many people would think that was a crazy way of thinking, but I don't even experience the world just as a physical reality. Everywhere I'm going, I'm sensing where the mood is, where the energy is, what's off, how to align. I'm also upping my practice and doing much more meditation before, doing body scans and clearing out light. And there's going to be a lot of practices that I'm going to share with you at the workshop, because it's important not just to hear this stuff, not to just understand this stuff. I mean, we all have a thirst for knowledge, I'm sure. But actually, we also need to just tap into our own body and get guided on how to keep aligning ourselves to do the true work. Because we came to Earth to heal this beautiful mama planet. That's what we're really here for. And so while there can be some beauty in a spiritual experience that takes you off into a beautiful space of peace and unconditional love and light, this isn't the frequency that's remaining on this planet on the whole. And actually, we're tasked to bring that down into our work, into our practices, and into our reality. And that is magic made manifest. Now, I believe also for that to happen, yes, we need to learn the practices, the crafts that was taken from the cunning folk, from the healers throughout the centuries, taken into the dark occult and secret societies and put underground and given to a select few, because that is what enlightenment, the illuminated one, is about, the chosen one. The few rather than everyone. So I'm really passionate about bringing that back into everybody's hands, because folk healing is a long, ancient craft. You know, I call it folk healing because it resonates with the sort of British tradition, which is kind of where I'm from, my family line. But I'm an old soul. So there's also the everyday healing that was going right throughout the centuries in the tribes and all the rest of it, particularly ancient Egypt, which had very high occult magical practices and also understood a lot about demonology and entity work. And that is why a lot of people from magical lineages or darker occult always go back to Egypt and go back to the studies and take the knowledge and take the studies and twist it and reweave it. And many have channeled for the dark. Absolutely. And you can see this with how their behavior is playing out. But to reverse that curse, to change it, you can channel for the light. And I really recommend that people do channel your own wisdom, bring your own light magic through, bring your own work through, because we're not in a time of going, something external, save me, something outside of me, fix me. It's about going, here you go. Here's the tools. How are you going to work your magic in the world with these tools? So yeah, I'm very excited about giving these tools back to healers, because this is what should always have happened. But above that, a lot of healing and cunning folk and magical practitioners throughout the ages, call them witch light workers, shadow warriors, priestesses, priests, name them what you like, oracles, witches, sorcerers, all of them knew about the balance of understanding the light fields and the energy codes, and also understanding about the shadow and the dark. Because whatever you use for the light can also be used for the dark. So we have to understand both sides of the wheel. It's so important that we shine a light on the shadow. Now, those that do this, and I spoke about this recently in Hope, the Freedom Network in Sussex, which was a beautiful event of lots of people bringing a lot of wisdom round about ways to change structures and systems. And it was a community gathering to bring people together. And I really found my tribe of warriors there. And I looked out on everybody there. And I said to Spirit, what do they need to hear? Because I stepped on stage to do my talk. Spirit said to me, just channel it, just channel it. I was like, oh, can I not prepare something? I have prepared something. And Spirit was like, no. So I brought a lot of things through, things that I've been living, walking through anyway. But I looked out and I connected with the eyes of everybody there. And I said to them all, you're trailblazers, And that's what quite a few of us are. Certainly a lot of people that connect with me, they're asking like, does it exist out there? Like, oh my God, it's so good to connect you and to find you, because I felt alone with this. And we're trying to do things in a different way. We're very truth seeking. We're very honest, and we feel like we've got a lot of integrity, and we're probably getting wounded by some of the work because it's heavy. I've got you. I get you. I've been navigating it too. It is tough work, and I salute you. But you, like me, like all of them that I was speaking to, are a trailblazer. So what you're doing didn't exist before, because you're bringing in the 5D realm, and you might be doing that in storytelling, like me. I know there's a lot of us out there. You might be doing it in new healing paradigms. You might be doing it in the way that you run your business or your family. You might be doing it in so many different paradigms that need to fall and change and be reweaved. You might be building communities. You might even just be stepping into spaces, bringing in your energy and sharing a little bit of your truth. For all of that, I salute you. And I've always wanted to bring communities together like this so that people don't feel so alone with who they are. So yes, I did get a big spiritual nudge saying, bring it forward, this new wisdom keeper, these ways of practicing and remote viewing. Now, remote viewing, if people don't know what it is a way of seeing through the veils, going into different timelines and really being aware of what's going on elsewhere. And I did a lot of remote viewing when I was writing my second play, The Witch, the Bitch, the Whore Was Your Angel, because it was based in ancient Egypt. So I remember somebody asking me, have you been to Egypt? And I was like, no. Oh, you might want to go. But I was tapping into ancient Egypt, and that you have to travel through the portals and the timelines to get there. And so that's what I did. I mean, it was a time when we were all locked down. So I went within and travelled far, far away. And I got all this wisdom, all this knowledge, all this deep activations about magic and skull technology and obelisks and what they were really doing, and the Anubian technology that is harming souls in the underrealms. And whoo, it's big. It's big work. And then I was like meeting clients at the time who was coming in with this wisdom too. And then I was looking into Lisa Renee's work, and I was like, oh, she's talking about this stuff too. So I've learnt to really trust navigating remote viewing and seeing what's there and feeling into the energies. And that's got me to go to many lands and read a level deeper about what's going on. And so I want to guide everybody that wants to join me on this workshop to do that, to do some deep remote viewing from where you are, from going internal and seeing a site. I'm going to be doing some activations around some important sites, especially around the witch persecution lineages, because it's really important that by bringing magic back in the hands of healers, we use healing techniques, we use this wisdom technology, and then we advance it so that we're going into this new earth reality, that we're using all of that. But what that means is that you sometimes do have to review things that are hard. And that often takes a bit of safe space and support, and it's especially good to do it in a bit of a community so that you can realise, oh, everybody's there, everybody's making their own journeys, sharing what they see, and it makes you feel more like, oh, this is my tribe. You know, this is how we trailblaze and change the systems, not by doing it in a fallen, stuck reality of logic and facts, and this is the way things are done, because who taught us all that? Who taught us about science and logic and reason? Where did they come from, and who was funding them? Because if you want to look right deep at the core, it's the same as the history. Who taught us it? What really happened? Did it actually happen? Question everything, because what I've found at my core, at my deep truth, is totally different from what has been out there in the 3D paradigm, but very matching up with the 5D and the higher. And that being said, I've also done a lot of underworld work, because, you know, I understand the beautiful magic and frequency that's available from us at this higher level of consciousness. I feel into it every time I do a soul session with somebody. I'm aligning my energy. I'm like, okay, that's what's possible. I connect with somebody's soul and I go, oh, this is what's possible for you. I connect into the higher timeline of them, their super soul. And that's how I guide my work. But also, there is a lot of lost soul parts of us, the harmed parts of us, the way our light is fragmented off. And that can be found in the underworld. That can be found through trapped trauma and things that have happened to us through many, many lifetimes. And that is also asking to be reweaved and recalled back. And so I'm going to share a few practices, a deep dive into reweaving our soul parts back from any harm lineages, because those lineages make us scared to be us, make us scared to speak our spiritual truth, and even worse, make us scared to blaze really bright and do everything that we came here to do. And playing small in this world at this time isn't available for many of us. It's like it doesn't feel comfortable, and that's not what we're here to do. We got a call when we were locked down to wake up, to expand, to ignite and go, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live in a prison. And the prison became more visible. And once you know that you're in a prison, it's crazy to say I'll stay here when you know that you have the magical means to dilute the walls, to transmute the trauma, and to bring everything up into the light. That's what healers are really about. And so I love this name, healer. I've come away from it a long time because I thought, oh, yeah, there's lots of like bigger names, more exciting names, psychic and multidimensional medium and oracle and soul guide. But lately I've wanted to reclaim the healer, the practice. Because what could be more beautiful than being a healer? Coming to the world and going, I'm here to heal it, to make things better, to nourish you. I mean, there's nothing more beautiful than when you're a kid and if you have a nourishing relationship with your parents and run into your mum and she's like, I'm here. If you're upset, you get a cuddle. You know, that's just beautiful. That's a healer, you know? And a harmer hides into the shadows and hurls things and takes your energy, abuses it. You know, the levels I could speak into on this, and I will, but not here, are immense. But once you know and you can see the paradigm, you can turn towards the healers and away from the harmers. Because the thing is with the harmers, they know how to manipulate things to appear like they're doing good when they're not. And this is the problem. My real problem with harmers is that they've abused people's free will. And that's my beef, and that's what keeps me going and teaching and talking about this stuff and won't let me rest easy. Because, you know, you can say, well, I didn't know. But if you know, it's like you gotta sort of share it and help people be more aware of what's going on, really going on, because we've been sold an illusion. We've been sold a reality that isn't really true. We've been sold a way of, you know, fixing ourselves that doesn't work, a way of putting a band-aid on things, a way of just being in a fear state and being traumatized. We don't want that anymore. And so I guess sometimes that can be a really hard part of being an underworld warrior, a person that's looked straight in the eye of the gun and said, I do not consent. And what I mean by that is you might be the sort of person that's gone on to a deep dive, really researched into what dark magic is, satanic abuse is, looked at things that have really harmed the human spirit over the centuries, over the last few years, all of that. And it might have troubled your soul. And so maybe you've gone away from it and gone, I want to be in the light. Well, there's this beautiful neutral still space of coming into balance, of going, I can look at that and I can come back into balance. And I can look at the light, but I can still come back into balance and go, this is my purpose. So I say about that practice because it's something I've had to use as a way of understanding drama in my life. So one of the first acting practices I was taught in class was about the happy, mad, sad state. So you had to do what's called emotional prep, which meant you had to go into that state and really feel it, you know, really work your imagination into that state. And then come on stage with whichever one you'd prepped. But the really difficult thing was, especially as a magical manifester, was, God, if I keep going into this anger state, am I manifesting more of it? Am I manifesting more of it? Same with sadness. And then you want to hold on to the happiness and not let it go. But actually, the practice is to go into everything, being a real brave, courageous soul, and then coming back into balance and then releasing it all, going, everything is a story, is a drama, is part of a magical life stage theatrical play, really. Coming back into the still point. And so I don't mean about living life in this neutral state all the time. I think it's beautiful to be human with our range of emotions and our explorations, and I feel that things that make me angry or sad in the world make me go, I can't consent to this. I have to speak about this. This has to change. This is not okay with me. And there's real power in that. There's absolute power in that. But I just want to bring in a few practices to bring you back to the neutral state of peace and bliss. And so I'm going to do a little quick practice with you now that's come in. And I want you to just focus on your own hands, because you're all healers. Everybody is a healer, unless they're a harmer. And I'm pretty sure I'm not speaking to any harmers here. So I want you to rub your hands together until you feel a bit of ignited energy, a little bit of fire, a little bit of something between your hands. And then I want to take your hands out in front of your heart and feel that magnetic radiance between your hands, that vibration, that tingle. Whew. And then send it in a loop from hand to hand to your heart. And feel that pyramid opening up, that tingling energy. And just use your imagination if you can't quite feel it yet. And you can also charge your heart space up with a colour, a radiance, a pink or a green glow. And feel that healing energy being sent out to your hands and into your heart and round in this lovely circle. And then send it out forwards into a fuller circle. Ooh. So you're connecting with other heart energy in the world as well as yours. And then I want you to stay in this place and maybe drop your hands. And maybe think about something that has harmed you. Whew. And you might feel a drop in the chest. You might feel a tightness in the jaw. Maybe something that's horrified you that you found out that you didn't really want to know. Something red-pilled you, woke you up. Or maybe you've had something in your week, something hard's happened. Or maybe it's been a while ago. Just want you to tap into that memory. And then I want you to let it go. And letting it go can be difficult. So I want you to rub your hands again and just concentrate on that sensation, that warmth, that buzzing energy. Feel into that. And then bring your hands out and focus onto that energy, that buzzing, that vibration. And if your mind wants to wander, don't let it. Call it back to your hands, back into your heart, and start that pyramid, that energy. You can see it like light bouncing between hand to hand to heart to heart. Keep focusing on that light, that activation, and then sending it in a circle outwards, linking in with your higher heart or any heart energy in the world. And to tap into that higher unconditional love energy. Now think about something you absolutely dream of in this space. What do you want? What do you want to be in the world? What magic do you want to bring in? And really feel into that dream, that reality. Maybe it's some work that you've been doing that you just want to manifest into something bigger, brighter, and fill it with energy and colour and make it delightful. Make it so delightful that your body feels the ripples of it. And when your heart is feeling big and full, you can open your eyes and come back into the space. And that is just a short practice of putting magic back in the hands of healers and not harmers. And also being able to bring yourself back to this still point, to being able to go back into both realms and even question yourself, which one do you live in more of, what one's a distant memory? And knowing that you can weave both of those. And so on this workshop, I will be talking about some heavy stuff. I will be bringing that forward. I've never been afraid to look at the shadow and bring it to the light. It seems to be one of my paths in life. So I will be talking about how dark magic has been stolen, and we will be going into any soul abuse and persecution in your lineage that you want to heal and bring forward. And I will be bringing a transmission of anything else that needs to come through and talking about some of the Egyptian magic and why occult practitioners use that. I will be calling out some of those, as well as celebrating some healers and cunning folk and weaving in their magic. I will be channeling some more of the truth and trusting something bigger than me wants to come through. And I will be helping you with these healing practices to put them back in your hands so that you can use them in your life, that you can feel activated by the true lineage of the wisdom keepers and be more a soul embodied truther, trailblazer of this new earth. So I hope you can join me then. I'm going to share the link in the video. And yeah, whatever you do, dive into those practices, put magic back in your hands because it's important, and enjoy it. Enjoy the tingling magic and enjoy the bravery of being a truther anyway.